Hey guys, welcome back to our urban homestead. Today is January 29th and I am dreaming of the 2023 garden. So I went ahead and I went through all of my seeds, narrowed down what I'm going to plant, and I thought I would share my process with you on that. Especially if you are a beginner gardener, this is going to be some great information for you, so I hope you stick around. So the first thing I do before I even get my seeds out is I look up my last frost date for my area. Not necessarily my zone, because, you know, those dates can differ depending on where you're at. So you can just do a simple Google search, last frost date for, then enter your zip code, and it will tell you when your last projected frost date is. That being said, I like to go about a week after. That's just a safeguard that I do to ensure we don't have any wacky Michigan freezes that catch us by surprise. So our last frost date for this year is the 10th of May, which is a bit earlier than last year. Last year, I think it was the 17th of May. So, but like I said, I'm still gonna give a week later before I even attempt to put any of my plants outside. Now, when I plan, I'm pretty old school when it comes to that. I just do a pad and a paper and my everyday planner that I use. I write the last frost date at the top of the page, and then I go through and list the varieties of things that I'm gonna plant, how many plants I need, and then I will, depending, you know, like tomatoes, I start 8 weeks before the last frost. And then I put 8 weeks next to that. So then all I have to do is go in here, count backwards from my last frost date, and then I'll write down on whatever day what needs to be started. There are many great resources out there for beginner gardeners. I, by no means, am a master gardener. I have been doing it for a very long time though, and I'd like to think I know what I'm doing. I don't know it all, nor do I pretend to know it all. Gardening is such a passion of mine. I love the sense of community it brings. It makes me feel good knowing that I'm growing food for our family and being, you know, as sustainable as I possibly can where I am. So, you know, that's one of the great benefits of gardening. Plus, I live on a cul-de-sac, and it really brings my little neighborhood together. My neighbors come sit in the front yard garden with me and we chat. You know, I'm able to share all of the things that I grow with them. I have people that drive by, and if I'm outside, they'll roll down the window and be like, oh my gosh, your garden is so beautiful. And they usually end up leaving with something. So gardening is just a great way to not only provide healthy food for your family, but it also builds a real sense of community. So if you are new to gardening, I really encourage you to try it. You don't have to have a big area. You can grow in 5-gallon pots. I just really implore you to go ahead and give it a try. Okay, so I went through all of my seeds. I'm changing my garden this year. I'm gonna be doing a few things differently, changing out some of the things I'm growing, growing more of certain things and not growing other things at all. Every year is different. It's my morning cup of coffee. Every year is different, and like last year I did so many zucchini plants. I'm not doing that many this year. We had so much. I was literally like dropping stuff off on all of our neighbors and running because I had already given them so much. It's like, you know, you can't give zucchini away at the end of the season because they're just such an abundant fruit. So I'm only gonna do 2 zucchini plants this year. Tomatoes, I'm gonna do 40. That's right around what I grew last year, I think, maybe a little more than 40, but 40 seems to be about the magic number. That'll let me, you know, make all my salsas, spaghetti sauces, all that kind of thing. Bell peppers, I definitely have to grow more bell peppers this year. I did not grow enough last year, but I was able to go to my local farmer and get some from him. I still didn't buy enough though. So I'm gonna do about 40 bell pepper plants and 20 jalapeno plants. Delicata, I did not grow any delicata squash last year, and that was very sad because we love it. I was able to go to my local farmer and buy some, but this year I am growing it because I missed growing it. Cucumbers, I did bush cucumbers last year. While they did great, I didn't put up any pickles at all, except for a half gallon, I think, of my fermented pickles, and I will leave that video in the description in case you're interested on that. If you like Clausen pickles, fermented pickles are the way to go. They are amazing. So I'm gonna do 3 pickling cucumbers and 1 slicer cucumber. Potatoes, I know I can grow potatoes. Last year was my first year growing them, and they did amazing. So excited. 90 pounds of potatoes for my first year. Absolutely amazing. And I have enough on my pantry shelf to continue to get us through the rest of the winter. So I think I'm gonna do the same amount of potatoes that I did last year. Now, here's a couple of new things that I'm gonna be trying. Okra, I love okra. I've never grown it. I've got it planned to do 4 okra, but I've never grown it. So I need you guys to tell me in the comments, please, is 4 okra plants too many, do you think? Do they produce a lot of pods? Do you think I can grow them here in Michigan? Have any of you tried to grow them in Michigan? My goal is to have enough, like a couple gallon bags that I can cut, bread, and then freeze. And then when I want it, I can just pull it out and fry it up. That's my plan. So let me know, please, if 4 is too many. Carrots, my carrots did not do well last year. I think it just was too hot when I planted them. The year before, my carrots did beautifully. We kind of had a cooler summer the year before. So I'm gonna do some carrots. Corn, I'm gonna try to grow corn again this year. I didn't even attempt it last year. And the year before that was my first year trying it. And I learned a lot that year. I learned that I didn't plant enough and I did not put them close enough together. Corn are wind pollinated and you really should do them in like square foot blocks, you know what I mean? So I'm definitely gonna retry it. I don't like to give up on something just because I can't do it the first time. So I'm gonna do some corn and pigeon peas. Our friend Missy from Florida, she sent some pigeon peas and some corn and some Ford Hook bean seeds to me. So the pigeon pea plant is absolutely beautiful. The flowers on it are, gorgeous, bright red. And in the pods, the peas almost remind me of a lentil. That's what they look like. So I'm gonna be trying those as well. So that's what I have planned for the front yard and the greenhouse that we have to rebuild because third year, and you know, we had all that snow and it just completely collapsed it. I still have to figure out what I'm gonna do with where I had the tomatoes, the big wild tomato garden last year. I'm trying to decide if I want to do that again this year. It did really, really well. Or if I want to plant something else back there. I'm not really quite sure on that. And then the green stalk, I'm gonna really focus a lot more this year on the green stalk. Last year I didn't. The year before I did, and it was wonderful. The green stalk is such a great way to grow food in a very small space. So I'm really gonna focus on that again this year. That way you guys can see just how easy it is to grow food in a very small area. Now, I'm not gonna start any broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, anything like that, probably until, that'll probably be my fall garden. I didn't have really a fall garden last year, and that's something I really want. I am waiting to do these in the fall because we have cabbage moths so bad, and it will just decimate. I've tried 3 years in a row now to grow these in the springtime, and it just never works. So I'm going to try it in the fall. You know, who knows? I might try to grow like 2 cabbage, 2 broccoli, and 2 Brussels sprouts just to see if this year will be any different. Who knows? So now what I have to do is I have to mark everything down on my calendar of when I need to plant it. So I start most of my seeds inside. Well, not most of them. I do tomatoes, peppers. I'm gonna do the okra. And that's it. The rest of the stuff I direct sow outside. I think that it's better for them. Squash and all of the, you know, plants in that family, like your cucumbers and zucchini, they really don't like their roots to be messed with. So I always direct sow them. And in my experience, it makes for a stronger plant. So, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get everything written down. In case you guys are wondering when you should start things indoors. So tomatoes need to be between 8 and 10 weeks started indoors before your last frost date. I like to do 8 weeks because I think that if you do any longer than that, you're gonna have massive plants and then you're gonna have to keep up potting them, right? Bell peppers, I also do 8 weeks. Jalapenos, I'll be starting those on Valentine's Day. Hot peppers take a little bit longer to germinate than the rest. Okra is about 6 weeks before your last frost date. But you can, you know, just put in like whatever search engine you use, when to plant, when to start seeds indoors for blah, blah, blah. And it'll tell you how many weeks that you need to do. All right, so I gotta get busy and And then I still have to go through my herbs and what I'm gonna do in the green stalk, and try to narrow things down. That's the hardest part of this whole process for me, is especially with tomatoes. I wanna grow all of the varieties, but I can't. So I'm gonna try really hard this year to just do 5 plants of each variety. We'll see. I have a really hard time narrowing down when it comes to tomatoes. I love them, and I just love growing them. So now I've got everything written down for the big garden. I just have to narrow down the green stalk and the other planting areas. And the next week I've got to get my lights out, my racks set up. I already bought those burpee seed starting, the reusable ones where the bottom pops up. I'm really excited to try them this year. The ones that you know, plastic black seed cells, I've had them for years and they're falling apart. There's only so many times you can reuse them, and they are unfortunately gonna have to go. So yeah, I feel pretty good about getting this done today. Like I said, I just gotta get my racks ready, my lights out, get some soil to start my seeds in, but I feel like I have a pretty good plan in place, and it doesn't make me yearn so much and so, you know, anxious. Like, you feel sometimes really unprepared, or I do anyway, until you have that plan in place and you can see it on paper and know, okay, I can count down now. I'm counting down to Valentine's Day. I'm not sure when this video will be out. It'll probably be out right before Valentine's Day. So thank you guys for watching. I hope it was informative to some of you. And this is just the first of many garden videos for the 2023 season. I can't wait. You know, canning season is long done for me, and still doing the pantry challenge, but being outside and doing the garden and garden videos is really what I like to do. So I'm excited to get this ball rolling. Thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, abundance and blessings to you. Bye-bye.